Movie begins with the city of New York. A woman walking at night, her name is Rachel. A man starts following her. He catches up to her and steals her belongings. We then jump 7 months later. Rachel moves to the suburbs for a safer life. She is pregnant. Her husband Peter helps her around, reminding her she has 1 month left. Rachel isn't too happy to live in the suburbs. There is nothing to do, she says. Peter then heads to work even on the Sunday. He does it to spend more time with the baby when it's born. Rachel complains that she has nothing to do. Peter suggests her to go visit a bagel shop not far from the house. She goes there and bumps into Grace. She introduces herself as being her neighbor next door. A little later, after coming back from the shop, Rachel meets Yvonne. She tells her she's living across the street. Both introduces to each other. As soon as she leaves, another neighbor introduces herself. Her name is Sandy. She helps her put her groceries in the house. Sandra congratulates her on the baby and reveals her she couldn't conceive a baby, and that's why she and her husband broke up. Sandra then sees a device and Rachel tells her it's a camera. She then leaves. Later that night, Rachel realizes she can see the neighbors across the street making love. Peter, who is almost asleep, barely hears her. Seconds later, when in the bathroom, Rachel hears a noise in the house. She realizes Peter is sleeping. She goes downstairs to check and hears it again. She goes closer to the noise and grabs a melon to defend herself. But it ends up being Patricia, Peter's mother. The next day, Patricia tells them she worries about Rachel being alone here the whole day. Rachel doesn't like her and her remarks about what Rachel should do. She asks Peter to stand for her, but he stays quiet. This irritates Rachel. She watches Yvonne coming out with her babysitter, Sandy, walking by. The neighborhood seems peaceful, so she falls asleep. Hours later, she wakes up in the middle of the night and realizes Yvonne's babysitter is having an affair with Yvonne's husband. She then sees Yvonne coming back home. She catches them together and starts stabbing. Rachel gets scared and calls the police to the house in front. The police then shows up and tells Rachel there was no nanny. Patricia thinks she is losing her mind after surviving her attack in New York months ago. But Rachel is sure of what she saw. At this moment, she feels something wrong and Peter brings her to the hospital. The doctor tells her to stay at rest until the baby is born. Back from the hospital, Rachel wants to talk to Yvonne, contrary to Peter, who thinks she should rest. She then knocks on Yvonne's door. She opens and screams at her to go away. Minutes later, Rachel finds out Patricia moves in with them to help her. The next day, Rachel looks across the house and sees the neighbor who always walks his dogs. She saw him looking too that other night and is sure he saw something too. She goes to his house. Grace opens and tells her to stop harassing her husband Gary. She has been very hostile to Rachel. Rachel steps out and Sandy meets her, inviting her to go grab something. Sandy tells Rachel that she believes her. An hour later, she comes back home and Patricia is disappointed of her stepping out with strangers. She screams to her to stay in her bed to help her baby. Later that day, she takes Rachel's phone away, saying this stimulates her imagination. The next day, Peter brings her back her phone and shows her she can relax in the backyard if she needs to be out. Hours later, Sandy pops in out of nowhere. Patricia notices it and is not happy about it. Rachel then tells Sandy a secret. She always had anxiety and since she became pregnant, she got off the meds. Sandy understands her and puts her hand on Rachel's stomach in a weird way, talking about her baby in a creepy way. This really puts Rachel on ease. That same night, while Peter is deeply asleep, Rachel checks the house across again. This time she sees Sandy standing on the street looking at her, staring at her. The next day, Rachel asks Patricia about Sandy. But she doesn't know much about her and doesn't like her. Sandy paid her house in cash, which is suspicious for Patricia. At the end of the day, Peter is surprised Rachel stayed inside the whole day. She tells him there is something off about Sandy, but Peter thinks she is now losing her mind. After Yvonne, now Sandy? Minutes later, Rachel glances again outside and realizes Sandy has the same poster they have in Rachel's future baby room. She immediately alerts Peter, who thinks maybe she just liked the poster. Rachel wants to leave this neighborhood, but Peter thinks she is just having a nervous breakdown. Rachel wants to call the police and Peter stops her. He goes to call the doctor instead. The next day, Rachel is outside. Peter comes and brings her some pills the doctor gave him for her. Rachel is quiet, but then decides to take those pills. Hours later, Rachel is sleeping when Sandy arrives in front of her. That scares Rachel. She bought her some ice cream. While she steps out, Rachel goes through her bag and steals her keys. Minutes later, she used them to get into Sandy's house. Inside she finds a baby room, identical to hers, and sees a photo of Sandy pregnant, which is weird because she told her she could never conceive. Sandy then comes back and Rachel tells her she came because she forgot her keys. Sandy then finds her pictures down and finds it strange. Later that day, Patricia brings Rachel to the doctor and asks her if pregnant women sometimes hallucinate. The doctor responds that it's possible. That same night, Rachel and Peter hears on the radio that a 6-month-old baby has been abducted. Seconds later, Rachel sees Sandy coming back home with a baby. Peter looks, but Sandy is already gone. He thinks she is going crazy, and this gets her mad to a point where she throws a book at Peter. He is shocked. The police then arrives saying that Sandy told them Rachel was in her house. They think she is going crazy and is starting to seriously harass the neighbors. Patricia is upset. One of the police officers still gives Rachel her card just in case. Later that night, Patricia and Peter get into a big argument. The next day, Sandy comes to visit Rachel. Rachel apologizes for her behavior. As soon as she leaves, Rachel installs a surveillance camera facing Sandy's house. The next morning, Rachel hears some noise downstairs and Sandy shows up. Rachel wonders what is she doing here. Sandy then finds the hidden camera. Rachel feels unsafe and calls Officer Diane, who gave her the card. But Sandy threatens Rachel with a knife. They go downstairs and Rachel realizes Sandy knocked out Patricia. Sandy then takes Rachel to her house. Inside, Sandy reveals she lost her babies, twins. Rachel also sees the baby she kidnapped. Rachel tells her, "You won't have my baby," and knocks her out with a vase. She then takes baby and runs. Rachel then realizes her water just break. She screams for help as Sandy comes back. At this moment, Diane the police officer comes and shoots Sandy. But Sandy comes back and knocks out Diane. So Rachel takes Diane's gun and shoots Sandy. The movie then ends with Rachel giving birth with Peter and Patricia apologizing for not believing her. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out other movie summaries we have on our channel.